Okay, we're live. That was a little odd. Hold on a sec. My stream deck just stopped working. Let me just see if I can resolve that. Can I like refresh, like close and restart stream deck? Quit stream deck. And relaunch stream deck? Alright, yeah, it's the things I don't use the stream deck until I like press the button to like swap screens. Okay. Right, I'm just getting alert messages, but do I have to like redo all of this? Place action. Waiting for OBS. Okay, hold up. I'm just gonna. I guess I just don't have my stream deck for this stream. I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. Because it's just waiting for OBS, nothing happening. Also, hello, my dear. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Devices. Okay, I think the thing is I updated OBS just before starting the stream. And I wonder if I get the feeling that might have broken something, because of course it would. Okay. Well, sorry, Stream Deck. I'm gonna have to deal with you later. And of course, that's now made Katawa Shoujo disappear. Can I get it back? Wait, there we go. Alrighty. So, last we'd left off, we had Hanako having just a little bit of an anxiety attack. And, yeah, I wonder how things are going to go going forward. Like, something just gives me the feeling that this isn't as bad as it gets. So let's get into it. Hanako is more noticeable in her absence than when she is in the room. Yes, that's always a depressing thought, is when people notice more when you're... Or is it? Oh no, I suppose it's maybe the other way around, like when people don't notice you're not even there. A little, yeah, just a little, just a little bit. I feel her empty desk calling out for me. I find myself peering over my shoulder endlessly, hoping that I'm hallucinating and that Hanako will magically appear. She makes sure she's as small a presence as possible when she attends class, and although she had been getting better recently, that fact never changed. Nobody ever pays for any heat in class, and now that she's not here, they don't notice her absence. It's as if she just never existed. Lily did say that her skipping class wasn't an unusual thing before I met her, but it's still very off-putting. That does remind me, though, of let the bells ring first. I've forgotten his name. What's the teacher called? Muto? Yeah, Muto. Who, and like, he seemed to have like a very good mentality when it came to like Hanako's like struggles. Kind of like if you needed to get out, step out of class, like take your heart medication or something, like I'm not going to stop you there. So I'm not going to stop someone who has like mental and social issues from taking the time she needs. It was nice to see a teacher put the mental health of his students on the same level as the physical health. The bells heralding the end of school make me jump in my seat. It's only now that I notice Misha's prodding me in the side with her mechanical pencil to get my attention. Hello? Is anybody in there? Stop that. Ah, there we are. Welcome back to Earth, Hit-chan. Oh, hello, Yako. Welcome to the stream. What are you talking about? You keep on dazing off into space. I was beginning to think that you might be trying to contact alien life. I really didn't get much sleep last night, so I don't doubt Misha's words. I'm not sure whether it was due to my medicine's side effects, Hanako's panic attack yesterday, me worrying about her in general, or all three. I yawned tiredly before resting my chin in my palm, having been reminded of how badly I slept. Hey, are you really alright? Yesterday kinda rattled me as well. Yeah, I guess. I wanted to speak to Hanako again, though. Did you see her last night? Yeah, Lilly and I talked to her. This may sound a bit weird, but can you tell Shizune thank you? From both me and Lilly. I know Lilly technically didn't thank Shizune, but I could tell by her reaction last night that she wanted to. At least that's how it works out of my head. He does always a brief little blush. I think what Shichan is trying to say is, you're welcome? The furious signing on Shizune's reddened cheeks tell me that what she said was entirely different. Her blatantly flustered expression is amusing enough to make me chuckle. What's so funny, Hichan? Was it something we said? No, that's not it. I was simply thinking about how cute Shizune can be at times. You're right. Shichan is really cute when she tries not to be. I noticed that Misha decides not to sign her response to Shizune. Maybe Shizune's rage is enough of a counter to any quantity of cute. Oh, is this something Misha kind of is already aware? Like, this is something that Shizune doesn't need to hear. Nevertheless, Shizune quickly calms down and signs something else to Misha. Oh? Okay. Hichan wants you to come and have dinner with us. Dinner, eh? Turning away from them a bit, lest I be swayed by their pleading smiles, I begin to mull it over. The invitation certainly is tempting. A takeaway dinner with two cute girls is not a bad thing after all. The thought of Hanako locked up in her room, though, keeps dancing on the edge of my mind. Sorry, I'll have to pass. Aww. Misha doesn't sign my response, but Shizune picks up on it easily enough and grimaces in disappointment. She moves her arms, assumedly beginning some form of either protest or coercion, but stomps herself and taps Misha's shoulder twice. Once Misha gives Shizune her attention, the only statement Shizune has on the matter is a shrug. Oh well, it's your choice, Hichan. I promise I'll join you to another time, if that helps. Misha perks up at this, but Shizune doesn't share her reaction. With a flick of the head to signal for Misha to follow her away, Shizune simply raises her hand to silently wave me goodbye. As the two make their way out the door, I return the gesture until they're out of sight. I didn't think that they would be so disappointed, and it makes me feel a little bad for ditching them. Still, I have things to do. The girls' dormitory is especially rowdy today, with the number of girls loudly playing games and watching television in the common room on the first floor. I can hear their voices even now, standing in front of Hanako's door. It's an odd contrast to the emptiness of the floor she's on. The voices from below make the emptiness feel all the more lonely. I had hopes that Hanako would be in class today, especially after the talk Lilly and I had with her last night, but I feel like I shouldn't hold it against her. It was a pretty awful episode, and to have experienced it firsthand must be all the worse. Not knowing what state she's in, I take a small breath before giving a few sharp knocks on her brown door. All I can do is stand and wait, doing my best not to feel anxious. Maybe call out a little bit just so she knows who it is. Because like I know like it can be like it can be anxiety inducing itself when you're kind of like there's someone at the door, and if I open the door I'm going to have to talk to them, but I don't like, is it someone I'm going to be okay with talking to? As the seconds wear on, I begin to think she might be asleep and didn't hear me knocking. The door handle rattles a little before I can raise my hand to knock again, though. The door opens a sliver, an eye appearing in the gap, only just large enough for it to peer through. I'm sure this girl would install a peephole in her dormitory door, if only such a thing was allowed. I just stand and smile at her. I don't think words would really help here, after all. The act is returned in kind, with Hanako wordlessly looking at me. The gap's not wide enough to see her expression, and I can only guess what she's thinking. Time passes as we look at each other, the only sound being the disembodied gaiety from the ground floor. I'm not sure how long it takes, but eventually the eye moves away. I keep wondering whether she'll let me in or shut me out until the door slowly begins to creak open. Now that I have a full view of her and her bedroom behind, the first thing I notice is that Hanako's hair is quite damp. She's recently showered, which is made even more obvious by the scent of shampoo wafting towards me. Also, it's something that just occurred to me, but didn't last time, just when it mentioned when Hisao was like observing like how sparse Hanako's room was. It made me... I'm kind of just wondering now, is that like another like result of the fire? Like kind of she doesn't, like she wants to keep the things she'd lose to a minimum. Like I think it made sense for Lilly, because Lilly wouldn't really be too bothered with decorating as she can't see any of her decorations. The look on her face seems one of curiosity, as if she's not really sure what to make of me. Even so, I'm not really all that sure of what she's thinking. It feels as if she's gone away for a long time, and having now returned, neither of us knows what to say to the other. Hanako realizes she's staring, looking away awkwardly before turning to the side and gazing at her feet. I decide to take it as an invitation and step past her into the room, closing the door behind me as I do so. I can see her hands fiddling in the folds of the oversized gown that hangs from her shoulders. I try to concentrate on what I want to say, but the scent from her rattles my senses. To my surprise, it's not me, but Hanako that breaks the silence. Why? Why did I come here? I was worried about Hanako, so I came to her room. She let me in, as I had hoped, and then... What? What did I mean to do? What did I mean to say? Why didn't I think this through before coming here? I want to make up for what I feel I caused, at least partly. I want to try and remove the distance I feel between us since then, and to see her happy. How can I do that when I don't know the first thing about her? I wonder if this is how Iwanako felt when she saw me lying in that sterile pastel blue hospital bed. Wait, the letter still hasn't come up in this route yet. A deep sigh steadies my nerves a little and ends my stammering. I don't think I've ever felt this nervous around someone before. When I'm like this, I don't think I can lie. Even if I could bring myself to, Hanako would see through it right away. I don't know. I just wanted to see you, I guess. Her fingers stop moving, giving me a little surprise. Looking up to her face, she gives a sweet smile and a nod. That was a satisfactory answer for her? Since you're here, I'd like to play a game of chess with you. I almost hang my head in disbelief that all she wants to do after I've been winding myself up so much is play a game. Looking at her face, though, a tentative smile perched upon it, I realized that this is more than that. She could have not bothered answering the door. She could have shut it as soon as she saw my face. She could have asked me to leave. She could have rejected me at many points, but she didn't. Now, with this calm face, she wants me to play the same game that we played when we first really spent time alone together. A feeling of relief washes over me. Everything will be alright. Hanako has let me into her world. As long as we can be together like this, I think everything will be alright. It would be my pleasure. Next day. Oh. The day of Hanako's birthday party is finally here. To be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Hanako and Lily in their pajamas again. Of course, that's what's the first thing on your mind. Hanako's gown has grown on me as looking rather cute, though a bit conservative, and Lily's shorts and thin silken top are a lovely combination. But the event is stained a little with the memory of Hanako's reaction to it. I still don't really understand what happened, only being able to vaguely guess at the possible reasons for it, but I don't think finding the answer will be as straightforward as asking her. With that in mind, I knock on the door next to Hanako's. Is that you, Hisao? Yeah, it's me. I can hear the pitter-patter of footsteps coming to the door, followed by the sound of the lock snapping open. I don't think I've ever seen Lily's door locked before, and it makes me a little suspicious. Once the door opens, the sight is a little underwhelming for a birthday party. Hanako returns to her seat at the table with a quick smile and a nod, leaving me to close and, assuming they wanted it to be kept that way, lock the door. I wonder, is Akira going to show up again this time? Because we haven't met Akira in this route. As I do so, I realize that the scene before me is that of an evening tea party, just like any other between the two. Somehow, I don't think I should be surprised. To be fair, that's kind of this kind of thing I like for like birthdays and events. Like, I don't like making a big deal out of it. It's just kind of like have a chance to like spend more time with friends. Like at the most, we might go out somewhere nice for dinner or like go to the movies. But otherwise, I'm just kind of like, just let me have a chill day. Like play games with friends. To my relief, Hanako looks relatively calm. The break from class has probably done her good and given her time to wind down a bit. I take a seat between the two at the low table in the center of Lily's room, the brightly colored teapot steaming away between us. The tall brown bag close by Lily's side catches my attention. I covertly try to glance inside it a couple of times, but can't get a good look from here. I imagine that's the doll. Looking to Hanako, it seems like she's as curious about it as I am. Hey, Lily? Lily finishes off the teacup raised to her lips before setting it down and giving me her attention. That and Hanako doesn't seem like type. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I feel I empathize more with like Hanako's idea of a birthday party than Hisao. Yes? I was just wondering about that brown bag. She pauses for a moment, then gives a slightly cheeky smile. That would be Akira's present. Oh, wait. I just remembered what Akira's present is. Unfortunately, she said she was working and can't join us. Lily leans over and feels out the item inside before raising her arm. I raise an eyebrow as two items, not one, rise from the bag, The glass necks are grasped by Lily on either side of her middle finger. So this is why she had her door locked. Oh, hey there, Kendi. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time for the birthday party. Wine. There are 2 small fuds as the bottles are brought to rest on the table. One red, one white. I want to believe that it's fake, non-alcoholic wine, but if it was, there wouldn't be any need to be this circumspect. Alcohol? Seriously? Are you sure this is a good idea? Lily smiles politely and giggles. I'm not really convinced that she is. These would be the present from my sister. I know it's a bit questionable, but a little shouldn't hurt. If Lily took serious issue with it, I don't think she'd have agreed quite so easily. That aside, I had Akira squared as the serious and responsible type. Maybe like an older Lily, but it looks like I was wrong. We aren't even legally able to drink yet. Well, in that case, I won't complain. They don't look bad either. I'm no connoisseur, but at least the bottles look nice. Apart from a surreptitious glass of wine or two given from my father at family dinners, I haven't really had enough to know what's what. That, and I can't really say that I'm a total straight edge. Going by Hanako's expression, she's thinking the same, and it's her birthday anyway. Shall I open one? Sure, I'll get some... My heart skips as I hear 3 sharp bangs coming from Lily's door. Hanako's head flicks around and Lily's eyes close as she listens intently. None of us want to be busted for this. Who is it? Let me in, I'm cold. Who's this? Lily lets out a resigned sigh before motioning for Hanako to open the door. She obediently gets up and fusses with her gown before moving. Apparently still not sure of who it is, but trusting enough in Lily to do as she requests. I can just see a blonde, dark-suited figure become visible over Hanako's shoulder as she opens the door. Because, oh! I was like, Akira can make it. I was beginning to wonder if maybe we just weren't going to meet, like, actually meet Akira at all. Happy birthday, Hanako! Thank you, Akira. Hanako gives a small bow while twiddling her fingers in front of her. So this is Lily's elusive sister. Akira follows Hanako to the table after shutting the door behind her, giving me plenty of time to have a good look at her. She looks to be about the same height as Hanako, and has short blonde hair that's quite roughly cut. That, in addition to her rather modest breasts, masculine suit, and deep voice, gives her quite an androgynous effect. Without further ado, she plops herself down on the side of the table across from me. It's nice to have your company after all, Akira. Did work let you off? Yep, I have to go back there in a bit, but I managed to get enough of a break to drive down. So, this would be Hisao then. A confident smile gets thrown in my direction, so I nod politely in return. Considering she just jumped straight to use my first name, she's much more informal than her appearance would suggest. Wait, if she already knows who I am, then that must mean that Lily's talked about me with her. I wonder what she said. I'm trying to remember, like, no, I don't think... Does anyone use Hisao's, like, surname? Oh yes, like, Nakai, wasn't it? I'm trying to think, like, it's just, like, pretty much just Muto, isn't it? Sorry for not introducing you, Hisao. This is Akira Sato, my elder sister. I see. It's nice to meet you. The person in question loudly claps her hands together, making Hanako jump a little bit. Later in the romances they do? Oh, okay. Why later in the romances? Like, normally... Did I have to jump? I got. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that they're having like several clues along the way that the developers like have an outside view of Japanese culture. And no, you do not get to be ignored, Kendi. You're in chat. You are being perceived. It was 4chan, you know. Good old 4chan. Onimuto uses Nakai. Yeah, I was trying to remember, like, because that's the first time I think Hisao was brought up, kind of, oh, someone's jumping right to using my first name. And my brain was kind of like, hasn't everyone done that? Akira notices this and looks uneasy for a fraction of a second before getting back into her stride. Only now do I realize that Akira hasn't paid Hanako's scars any undue attention. Hanako also seems to be comfortable, if not exactly relaxed, around Akira. Well then, I assume the presents got through. No point in waiting, considering Hisao and the birthday girl look like they're pretty eager. Lily giggles as I awkwardly turn away, a little embarrassed by the fact that I couldn't hide my interest. Hanako's eyes are telling me that she wants to try to wine together with me, though, so I settle for a look of badly feigned indifference. Akira manages to uncork the first bottle with small effort, and Hanako goes to get some glasses before I get to pour the four of them full of white wine. I heard somewhere that white wine has less alcohol than red wine, so I think it would be the best to start with. What I know as well, like white wine, like is the taste is more palatable for people who aren't familiar with alcohol. Like, I know I've tried red wine before, and it can be very, like, a very strong taste if you're not used to alcohol. Everyone else would use how it's pretty normal in translation works, anyway. Yeah, I suppose for me, Kendi, it's just I tend to... A lot of the subtitles I watch for shows will, like, they'll translate it as it is. As it is. Like, Persona's quite good for that. Like, Persona, even in the, like, English dub, will keep, honorifics and such. And, like, the Kamen Rider and Super Sentai I watch, the subtitles will, like, tend to keep names in the right order. So sometimes it takes my own brain a little bit of time sometimes to remember to swap around. Alrighty. Here's to Hanako, and to Lily's trip. Cheers! Cheers. After the traditional raising of the glasses, we all take sips of the pale yellow liquid. It's nothing like the stuff I've had with my parents, with the fruitiness of the flavor almost entirely hiding the taste of alcohol. Maybe this is what proper wine is supposed to taste like. Well, maybe, I don't know. I really dislike like the taste of like alcohol itself. It's why the most I tend to drink would be an occasional like a sweet cider. Oh, and even then it's like maybe once or twice a year. Like just a little something at Christmas or my birthday. Then again, it's possible that Akira just chose a wine which would be suited to our tastes, since none of us are used to alcohol yet. Or at least, I hope none of us are. This isn't too bad. I was expecting something harsher. If you hadn't liked it, I have a few other varieties you could have chosen from. You sound like you know your stuff when it comes to wines. Don't like IPAs? IPA. See, I'm so unfamiliar with alcohol, I don't know what an IPA is. The first way stuff like ciders or meats. Yeah, cider would be kind of my go-to if I was getting something to drink out somewhere. Though I tend still to go with a fruit juice or a soda. Because I'm not fussed on alcohol. Kurtz Masuka keeps direct translation of Yuki's Honda-san in the dub. It's a Miss Honda. Yeah, that's. Yeah, that's. I'm sometimes a little like unsure about like how to translate honorifics. IPAs are stand. Oh, okay. It's basic beer. Definitely haven't done beer much. Oh. Yeah, like I don't like san. Like it's often like kind of said like it's like the equivalent to your like your Mr. and Miss, but at the same time, it's not always like quite that formal. Yeah, like 'cause yeah, it does sound weird for English speakers. Yeah, it's one of those cultural things that kind of you can't really translate it. Like there's, I think most dubs tend to go with nicknames for Kun and Chan. Yeah, Kun and Chan, I feel like like going for like making a cutesy nickname for someone works. But yeah, most of the time I prefer subtitles. Well, I know we're talking about dubs here, but I know like subtitles sometimes like try to like translate honorifics. And there's an alternate one for Kamen Rider Drive mini that's it really bothered me because it translated like medic's Heart-sama as Mr. Heart. And I kind of feel like when you translate Sama as Mr., it kind of, you lose a bit of what that means. Right, back to the story. Only a bit. I'm more of a beer kind of person. I have the drinking side down pat though. As if to prove her point, she refills her glass before bringing it to her lips and flicking her head back. Hanako and I silently watch as the whole glassful disappears down Akira's throat. I can't decide whether to be impressed or put off, but I certainly don't have any urge to imitate the act. Drinking like that always feels like kind of a waste to me. What would be the close equivalent for Sama? It's hard. It's one of those ones that's like quite hard. Because like any word I can think of is either not strong enough or like too strong. Like I think kind of master is like something you could translate it as. Because there's very much supposed to be a sense of superiority, like when you use that for someone, like you're acknowledging that no day you have a position of authority above you. But it's kind of contextual as well, because it's also something you'd use if you're like I think I know like when you're writing a letter to someone, you're always supposed to use sama. So in that case, it doesn't mean the same thing, but it's kind of just the formality of it. So it depends in what context you're using. Honorifics are hard to translate. Sensei would be master. What do I say? Yeah, to be fair. Well, to be fair, Sensei isn't just master. Sensei is teacher. So it's a more specific. Yeah, it's. Yeah, translation is interesting. No, it's not an exact. It's never an exact science. I feel it's one of the things like why I appreciate that I'm nowhere near fluent in Japanese, but I understand. I understand enough that it's why I like watching subs is because I can hear. I can understand enough Japanese when I hear it to kind of go like, that's not, the subtitles don't have that quite right. But I can understand enough Japanese to like hear my way through it. You think you've heard sensei being used? Yeah, sensei is also used. It's quite often in art and media fields. Like you'd often refer to like a manga artist as a sensei. So generally in work environments, it's more senpai and kohai would be the terms you'd use. I'm trying to. I suppose that sensei might be one that's used more if like someone specifically is in like a training role. Like their job specifically is to train you. How did we get onto this again? It was like this started back with this is. I'm trying to figure out how did we get on to talking about honorifics. That was from like the surname forename mix up, wasn't it? Lily grimaces slightly at her sister's boast. I note that she is sipping from her glass as she does, though. Anyway, now that Akira's gift has been opened and sampled, shall we move on to ours? Gifts? That's right. We got you presents. It's your birthday after all. You're bothered by the fact they kept using first names. But I wasn't bothered by the fact they kept using first names. I would have brought that up before. I don't feel I've been too shy in letting you know when I've been bothered with this game. The little thing that bothered me just was that Hisao complaining that Akira like went straight to using his first names when everyone else has been doing that already. So yes, I'm bothered by Hisao again. It's always Hisao's fault. This is from me. Lily pulls out the carefully wrapped doll from under the table and passes it to Hanako. Hanako handles the present as if it were glassware, carefully turning it over to remove the tape that binds the wrapping. Eventually, the paper falls from the doll, revealing the emerald green of the doll's dress. It's beautiful. I'm not sure what reaction I was expecting from Hanako. The near total lack of dolls in her room made me think that she didn't care about them. But the look in her eyes now is something different. She turns the doll around with the same delicacy she afforded the wrapping, as if she was expecting it to fall apart in her hands. I'm glad that you like it. Hisao picked it out, to be honest. Hanako suddenly remembers that she is not alone in the room and shifts her focus from the doll. Yes, I like it. Thank you, Lilly and Hisao. Actually, I got you something else. I reach into my bag and remove the wrapped chess set. Here, happy birthday. Excuse me? Hanako carefully sits Lily's doll next to her and opens my present with the same care that she showed Lily's. Before long, the checkered squares of the chessboard are visible, and Hanako gently runs her fingers across the carved surfaces. I think the doll is helping her inner child. We all need to pay attention to our inner child. Trying to suppress it does no good. Ever seen a video of an older lady getting a doll? Oh, yeah, that's... I know we only watched a couple of episodes of it, but I don't know if you remember that Tokusatsu Gagaga show, Minnie? The one about, like, the office worker girl who, like, was really into her Super Sentai ripoff. And the final episode of that kind of has a similar moment where she kind of has this realization. Like, the reason her mum, like, was so insistent on her being into girly things and buying her, like, teddies and dolls and such was because her mum had never had, like, that chance at a childhood herself. So the series kind of ends with her, like, buying her mum one of the same teddy bears that her mum had bought her as a child. It was a good scene. Oh. Almost by accident, she triggers the catch to the lid, startling herself into process. She opens it and retrieves one of the grey pieces. She seems as absorbed into chess pieces as she was in the doll before. They're coral. Natural coral. Undyed, or so I'm told. Thank you, Hisao. No problem. It's your birthday after all. That's right. My birthday. Once again, Hanako's reaction seems a little off, but she carefully closes the board lid. I notice Akira's smile beginning to look very strained. I wonder if she knows anything about what happened in class, given that she seems to be treading on eggshells around Hanako. I'll have to play you again sometime. I'll make sure I'll play you first. Oh. She takes the doll she received from Lilly and holds it to her chest together with the small chessboard, putting the piece on top. The act seems to settle her down somewhat, and we just sit in silence for a while. I think it's one of the few times I've seen her genuinely happy, cradling the friendship of two people to her chest as tightly as she can. Thank you, Lilly. Thank you, Hisao. In the process of thanking us, Hanako drops the chess piece and fumbles a bit in her rush to retrieve it. Once she finds it, Hanako puts the chess set down and nervously gulps at her wine. It's as if the real world suddenly rushed back into her consciousness and her fastest escape from it was in a glass. Hey, easy there. You shouldn't drink it that fast. It is a party, Hisao. Despite saying this, there's a slightly concerned edge to her voice. Eventually acquiescing, Lilly proceeds to follow Hanako's lead, though not as eagerly. Just that Akira's got that reaction. She looks to be taking small sips from her glass and letting the wine settle on her tongue before swallowing. It's her birthday, don't tell her what to do. So if it's your well, we don't know how familiar Hanako is with drinking. I decided this is probably the best approach and do the same myself. Since this is kind of a going away party for you as well, I hope you enjoy your trip at least a little, Lilly. Hopefully your aunt will be okay. I hope your aunt is okay too, Lilly. Lilly and I are slightly taken aback by Hanako's fervor to wish Lilly well, despite her own familial situation. I'm a little impressed. My, thank you both. I'll be sure to convey your thoughts to my family when I meet them. It'll all be fine in the end, Lilly. Don't worry about it. Since the room's mood has become noticeably more sullen, I decide to try and move things along. Well then, shall we start on the cake? My tentative suggestion has the intended effect, everyone lightening up considerably. Yes, please. Cake? I didn't know there was any cake. I picked one up before I came, along with some snacks. Well done, Hisao. At least one of us remembered to bring one. Everyone seems to welcome the distraction, so I retrieve the cake from my bag and start cutting it up. See, this is the thing, like, if no one had arranged for, like, to bring the cake along, then you run into the issue of everyone brings a cake along. Like, what if both Lilly and Akira had both thought, you know what, I should bring a cake with me. And then you end up with... Well, I suppose in some ways maybe having free cakes isn't a bad thing. Mixing wine and chocolate isn't something that I thought would work well, but none of us seem to mind. Is it not? I thought, like, well, I suppose, like, isn't dark chocolate and, like, red wine supposed to go really well together? Conversation is temporarily suspended as we start to eat. I was initially wary of this idea. After Hanako's panic attack, I expected the worst from tonight. But I think Lily's idea of giving her good memories of her birthday is working. That and also having it shared with her going away party. From Hanako's reaction to her gifts, I can tell she was really appreciative. Hanako tries to pour herself another glass of wine, but ends up spilling some on the table. She's had a couple by now, so considering that she's never had alcohol before, it's no wonder if she's feeling a bit lightheaded. Sorry, Lily. I didn't mean to make a mess. Or with dish pairings, like red meat is ideal with red wine. Yeah, I'm trying to think like where I'd heard it. Because again, I'm really not familiar with anything like alcohol wise. But I just feel I'd heard somewhere that if you're thinking of like something to serve like as a snack alongside red wine, like little squares of dark chocolate go well. But again, I have had exactly one sip of red wine in my life, and that was already too much for me. Oh, don't worry, I've got it. Lily reaches sideways and gently takes the fussing Hanako in her arms, giving me pause. It's okay, Hanako. I'm just happy you're here. Hanako gives only a faint nod in response. It's fitting, I suppose, that Lily would be the one to support her like this. I have no idea what Hanako would be like if she hadn't. You've had a white wine fish where, and taken in tandem, you get a taste of the ocean from it. Do you want a taste of the ocean? Like, isn't it a bit salty? Seeing the two like this makes me appreciate the fact that I'm privy to such an intimate moment. Even Akira can't help but smile at the sight. I never would have thought I'd managed to find new friends so quickly, and I'm all the more thankful that, of all people, these two are the two I befriended. They slowly break off from one another, Hanako regaining herself somewhat while I quickly get myself back on task. I find a towel among Lily's tea set and start mopping up the spillage. By the time I finish, however, Hanako and Lily have managed to uncork the other bottle and have topped off their glasses. Yeah, looks like you're enjoying the wine then. Just don't go too crazy with it after this, mind. We all dutifully nod and agree, but her reminder feels a bit silly that she's the one supplying underage people with alcohol. Fish and drink when it's salty is just how it tastes. Okay, yeah, it doesn't sound particularly appealing to me, but then again, to be fair, alcohol generally doesn't appeal to me. I'm big on alcohol if you get knowledge from it. Yeah. I don't know, I don't even have anyone in my family really who drinks much. Other than my uncle-in-law, but I don't spend all that much time with him. And I suppose my little brother as well, but they're more, I think, into like their beer and lager and such. It's not the wines and ciders that they're on. The second glass of wine goes down a lot quicker than the first, and before any of us notice, the second bottle is empty. While Akira is helping us finish them off, Hanako looks to be almost equaling her in the amount she's had. Oh boy. But Akira feels like she's staying a lot longer than she did in Lily's route. Your favorite track of the game? Oh. I don't think I've had a favorite track of the game. I know I have two ones I dislike. There's the one that is really loud. Tend to associate more with Misha. Yeah, this does sound like a Misha track. So, but I know there's one track that's very loud, and then there's the like the fake out tense music, where like the first 10 seconds sound like it's tense before it gets to just like chill again. My head feels a bit light, but I think I've managed to gauge my own tolerance surprisingly well. Hanako smiles lazily, toying with her doll's hair. I think it's a pretty safe bet that she hasn't moderated herself as well as I. I don't think it was Hanako's intention to get this drunk, but it seems that the alcohol hit her all at once. You know which ones I'm talking about? Yeah. She has a very light frame, something which wouldn't help her handle her booze well either. Lilly cradles her glass, running a finger around the rim. Her cheeks are rosy, but she's managing to avoid looking woefully drunk. Akira is, as I somewhat expected, largely unaffected. Her smile might be a little wider than before, though. Maybe. Hanako suddenly hiccups and accidentally knocks over the doll. I think I should maybe go to bed. Thank you, Hisao. Thanks, Lilly and, Akira. She slurs Akira's name pretty hard, barely avoiding breaking out into a giggle midway through. She's completely plastered, and I can't decide whether I should feel a little bad or not for being amused at the state she's in. It really is bizarre to see her acting so carefree. It's a shame that it's only with the help of alcohol. Here, let me give you a hand. Like Hanako's intro song, you just wish it was long. Oh. I suppose there. I don't know. I haven't really noticed the soundtrack too much in Katawa Shoujo. No, which I suppose in a way is a good thing. Like sometimes you don't want a soundtrack to like stand out to you. It's there to augment the rest of the content. So maybe I'll need to have a listen. I know the game does have like you can listen to the soundtrack. I'll maybe have to give some of the tracks to listen to without the context to them. Akira begins to get up to help Hanako out, but she's stopped when Lilly gives a sharp cough. Hisao, would you please? Akira looks a little surprised, and I have to admit that I am as well. I don't mind a request at all, let alone when it's said with such a smile. It just comes rather unexpectedly. Sure, no problem. I pick up the chess set and help Hanako stand up. I do feel somewhat responsible for her, considering that, other than Akira, I'm probably the most sober person in the room. She nurses the doll in one hand and offers me the other. We stumble out of the door, into the hallway and into Hanako's room. Hanako bumping into me a number of times on the way. Downloaded games album titled Enigmatic Box of Play. iPod Mini back in the day. Ah, good old iPods. Back before we had Spotify on my phone. Inside the room, I flick on the light as Hanako turns her attention towards a shelf on her dresser. An elegant doll is sitting on it, staring into the bare room. There you go. You'll be safe in here. Oh. The doll's head looks larger compared to the rest of the body than I was expecting. Hanako gingerly places the doll next to the other one and straightens its dress. They sit in silence, hair and clothes perfectly arranged, just like the teapot in Lily's room. They serve as a distinct contrast to the dull whites and greys that permeate her bedroom. Satisfied that her dolls, her only two real possessions, are safe, Hanako takes a step back and stands up, staggering severely. I step forward to catch her if need be, but she regains her balance without my help. For a while, both of us stand in silence as Hanako looks downwards towards the cupboard. After a minute or two, she begins to sway a little from side to side. It's very off-putting. Are you going to be alright? Hanako raises her head and turns around to me as if she's only just remembered that I'm also in the room. What's unexpected is that she takes 2 steps towards me and wraps her arms around my body, her head coming to rest against my chest. I can feel my heart beating as all of my senses feel like they're coming alive again after they're deadening through the previous drinking. Careful with that heart of yours, Hisao, you haven't been exercising this route. The smell of wine on her breath, the feeling of her fingers through my clothing, the scent of her hair underneath my chin. My hands remain out in front of me, not daring to touch her. The temptation is there to hug her, to embrace her, to tell her everything will be fine, but this feels wrong. Really, really wrong. Hanako, I want to stay with you and Lily. Hanako's slurring reminds me a bit of Misha. She probably wouldn't be pleased to hear that. You know I can't. You're a girl and I'm a guy after all, and Lily needs to sleep. She gives a disappointed groan. It's so strange for her to act so forward. Don't worry. I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? I decide to rest a hand on her head to reassure her, deciding that this is as far as I'll allow myself to go in terms of physical contact with her while she's in this state. She's aware not to take advantage of her. Yeah, I'm kind of glad to see that Hisao does seem to be his most... like, he's keeping himself together the best in Hanako's route. Like, I was a bit worried, like, seeing sometimes how he was acting and thinking in some of the other routes. I'm kind of like, that was making me very nervous for Hanako. But he does seem to, like, be at his most considerate here. Hanako's head nuzzles against my chest. It makes me feel all the more uneasy with the situation, and as her arms tighten around my back, I quickly decide to bail out. I rest my hands on her shoulders and give a firm but gentle push. Her grip tightens a little as I do so, but she eventually breaks off. I don't want you to go. Hanako, please. Kira and Lily are going to start thinking weird stuff if I take too long here. Rudy is the horror dog. It's perfectly true, too. I really don't want to take any chances, and I feel very uncomfortable right now. I shouldn't try to read anything into the way she's acting right now. I read that aside from alcohol lowering inhibitions, people can react to getting drunk in many different ways that don't necessarily reflect reality. And even without that, there are plenty of ways to interpret what she's saying. As long as she's safe, I'm going to try and get her out of her room as soon as possible. I'm going to try and get out of her room as soon as possible. Hanako hiccups again, looking a right mess as she stands and looks downcast into the center of the room. Her personality changed as she drank more and more, and now, all alone in her room with me, her previous brightness seems to have left her. Was she just acting upbeat to make sure we didn't worry? That's me as well, like, alcohol is a depressant, isn't it? Like, having her inhibitions lowered when she's around friends might have helped her be, like, happier, but when she's alone... Even if she was, what can I possibly do for her, since I do exactly the same thing in regards to my own condition? Distancing myself from my thoughts, I eventually managed to corral Hanako towards her bed, though her attempts to tame the wild cheats on it end up accomplishing little. Sorry about tonight, Hanako. I know you probably won't remember any of this, but happy birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't do more for you. She looks up at me for a moment. I have no idea if what I said actually got through to her, but any chance to ask is lost as her eyes peacefully close. I sigh in relief before quietly backing away from her and leaving the room, flicking the light switch off as I go. I hesitate a little before opening the door to Lily's room again, quickly rehearsing what I should say if I get questioned about Hanako. After a few seconds, I still can't come up with anything. I open the door and make sure to close it behind me lest any passing students catch a glimpse of the wine, before turning my attention to the two girls at the low table. Akira's casually smiling, as is Lily. I welcome the change from the mood in Hanako's room. Is that you, Hisao? Yeah, I got Hanako to her bed. She's sleeping now. That's good. I have to admit I hadn't thought that she'd drink quite so much. It's fine. She's all safe and tucked up in bed now. With the way she is... She awkwardly trails off, though Lily and I would hardly protest. For someone so anxious and fearful, drinking would give an easy out from those constant feelings. I wish I could do more for her. I feel useless. Looking at Lily, I think back to what I asked myself in town. My relationship with her is that of a friend, and has only ever felt that way, but now I think I know why. Lily's been there for both Hanako and me since I first met her, but she's like that for everyone, trying to do her best to make them feel better. With that in mind, then what's the bond between me and Hanako? After rescuing our relationship following the panic attack I inadvertently triggered during class, I feel like we're back to being friends, but she's on my mind more and more. I can't say I view any other girl in quite the same way, but maybe it's just a normal reaction to someone acting like this. Say, Akira? She yawns before looking at me. It is getting pretty late. You know about what happened with Hanako, don't you? Yeah, Lily told me. I negotiated pretty hard for a break so I could come down and help make her birthday a bit brighter. We get along pretty well. It's surprising to hear that from someone as extroverted as her, but if Hanako came to know her through Lily, maybe she had time to get used to Akira. And on that note, I'd better get going. I'm already going to be a bit late as it is. But it's already so late. Sorry, we got a bunch of work dropped on us, so overtime it is. She levers herself up with a grunt and heads past me towards the door. Just before she leaves, she turns back towards us. You haven't forgotten about the time for the flight and all the rest? Don't worry, I have everything ready. It's just a matter of packing when it gets closer to the time to leave. Atta girl. I'll see you guys later then. And with that, she disappears through the door with her hand held high in farewell. Your sister is something, alright. I probably should have thought that comment through before saying it. Regardless, Lily seems quite amused at my appraisal. You okay after all that drinking? You're not wasted and just hiding it well? I assure you I am quite alright. I can moderate myself. You seem quite self-possessed as well, if I do say so myself. Okay, so she did a better job in Hanako's route than in her own route. I remember she ended up with quite a headache afterwards. Yeah, well, I guess your moderation applies to me as well. With a little hesitation, I take a seat at the table in front of Lily. I want to address this directly, if for no other reason than to settle my own thoughts. I've been meaning to ask this, but it took me a while to make up my mind. Do you have any idea about what triggered that panic attack? I gathered it was something to do with her birthday, but I don't know anything more. Even Akira was being really careful around her, so I assume she knows as well? Lily's smile drops, the gaiety of the birthday party now well and truly over. To be honest, I'm not sure of all the details myself. Hanako told you that she was in a house fire. She told me as much after we met and spent a lot of time together. Other than that, she quite simply never told me. She never told you? Assuming the worst, what does she have to look back upon? A life of isolation and possibly even the death of her family? Maybe even going as far as blaming her existence for their deaths. Even thinking about what little I know of Hanako's past is bleak. To have lived through all that and to live on with those memories must be infinitely worse. Lily looks similarly depressed, but I can see her rebuild at least some of her composure before my eyes. I get the feeling that both of us are talking more frankly than we might otherwise do thanks to the wine. But it feels like just talking this out is a good thing anyway. I feel kind of helpless about it. When it's put like that, what can I possibly do for her? I'm not wholly sure I should tell you this, but Hanako told me that you visited her the day after we both went to check on her. I must admit that I did not predict she would take such a step so quickly after what happened. Nor did I expect you to. I think it was a nice gesture on your part. It wasn't much, really. It's just, at times like this, I sometimes think it would be better if we never had to leave Yamaku, or at least this town. Things are so much easier without others around. I didn't expect Lily to look quite so troubled at what I say, and for a while she looks lost in thought. She moves to speak, but stops herself as soon as she does, and rethinks. It's a bit off-putting. I think... Tell me, do you have anything planned for Friday evening? For Friday evening? No? Isn't your flight to Scotland the next day? I don't think it would be a good idea to tire yourself out before you can even get there. I'll be alright. You needn't worry about me. I'd do this tomorrow evening, but I imagine Hanako will be feeling rather off for a while. Excuse me again. The thought of how she's going to be tomorrow makes me grimace. Maybe we should count our blessings that she didn't end up simply throwing up from drinking so much while having such a low tolerance. Well, I'm going to be able to attend whatever you're planning. What is it? Nothing unusual, I assure you. Just a little excursion. And you'd better be off, Hisao. Oh. And you'd better be off, Hisao. I can't imagine it's long at all until curfew is here. I wonder, is she planning to try and get the karaoke we'd originally planned? Oh, damn, curfew. I'd completely forgotten. I look at the clock next to Lily's bed, but it seems to be some oddity without written numerals, which I suppose makes sense given Lily's condition. Not wanting to risk a haughty security patrol giving me a scolding, I get up and decide to go to my dorm as she says. Well then, I guess I'll see you and Hanako tomorrow, assuming the both of you manage to get up in the morning. Thank you for your concern, Hisao. Until then. With that, I make my way out of her door and into the hallway. I hope her ride here will be a good one. Are we going to find out straight away, or are we going to have some classes between then? Oh, nope. The hammering of a fist against the door feels like a nail being pounded into my head. Once, twice, 3 times. I let out a long, annoyed breath and bear it while pressing my eyelids shut, fervently hoping for whoever it is to just go away. I feel pretty damn awful. My face feels like it's cast out of lead, my arms feel heavy, and I feel queasy. It's been like this since I woke up half an hour ago, and I can't summon the energy to pick myself up out of bed. So, this is what they call a hangover. I wonder if perhaps this is the best treatment for teenagers who desperately want to try drinking as a way to feel like an adult. Considering how unpleasant this is, it's not something I want to repeat. At least Hisao didn't die this time. Oh boy. I just feel bad for how Hanako must be feeling. A series of thumps rings out again, reverberating around the small room. I wish they'd just give up already. I have no intention of getting out of bed for them. Seconds pass, turning to minutes. Since no more knocks are coming from the door, whoever it was must have left. Thank goodness. They didn't call out for you at all? Looking to my clock, the time when I really should think about getting dressed and ready for class is approaching. I don't think I can manage it though. I hate cutting class, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get much done at this rate. I can tell I look like a mess without needing to look in the mirror to confirm it too. The morning rush has given me enough time to stand outside the classroom for a little while without looking too suspicious. I hope that Muto doesn't ask any awkward questions about my not attending school yesterday. Yesterday? I was sick, that much is true. It's just the reasons for it. Oh, it's just the reasons for it that I have to hide. Okay, so we skipped a day. Confident I can get by with a tactical omission of certain truths, I stride into the classroom doing my best to appear normal. The instant I open the door and take a single step in, I can feel a dozen eyes looking at me. There's no way I'm imagining this. They're not even making any attempt to hide it. My eyes take a quick sweep around the classroom and I spot Hanako. We make eye contact momentarily before she looks down and stares very hard at her desk. Did she spill the beans? Muto may be okay as far as teachers go, but underage drinking on campus is not exactly something that would be taken lightly. So, yeah, I kind of remember there wasn't drinking in our school, but in our high school, like, there was a big problem with, there was a smoking ring going on. Like one of the students, well, at least one of the students was going like out back and like peddling cigarettes, like to the lower years. I looked at him with some trepidation. Feeling better today? Yeah, thank you. He motions for me to take my seat, my legs feeling like sticks as they carry me there. This is going to be a long day. As soon as the lunch bell rings, I'm on my way to Hanako's desk to ask her what's going on. My hat goes next to the hood. Worst thing that happened was that, like the school was stolen from, or like there was stealing between the students? Hanako, did you tell... She looks up at me and shakes her head. That's a big relief. It's just... Oh, yes. Okay. Both, I guess. Well, hello there, Hichan. It's nice to see you again today. Oh no, that expression from Shizune is not good. I grimace and turn towards the unmistakable voice coming from behind me. That was way too upbeat a tone of voice to feel comfortable, even from Misha. Misha's happy smile is nothing out of the usual. Shizune's, though, is a very bad sign. The one she wears has become notched into my brain as her "I have got you 7 ways from Sunday" smile. Hi, Shizune. Misha, you, look happy to see me? Not feeling well yesterday, Hitchan? No, I wasn't. But I'm feeling better now, at least. That's good to know, Hitchan. Why do I get the feeling that Shizune is leading me into a trap? You sound like you're not being completely serious. Oh no, Hitchan. We're genuinely pleased that you're all better now. Shizune is positively overflowing with happiness. There's only one reason why she would be like this. Oh no. In fact, we were quite worried about you. After all, you, Hanako, and Lily were all absent from class on the same day. Oh boy. Yep, she's got us so thoroughly that all I can do is sigh in defeat. I guess you have your own theories about this. Could you just kinda not tell anyone? It's a bit late for that, Hitchan. I suppose she's right, considering the looks I got as I entered class. Still, things only seem to be at the level of vague suspicion rather than outright accusations, so we'll probably be fine. Hanako's face sinks a little further. Such attention is troublesome enough for me, let alone for her. Going by Shizune and Misha's reactions, I think they noticed this as well. The only reason why we're giving you such a hard time is that you ignored us yesterday morning. Yesterday morning? Oh, was that... I'm trying to remember, because wasn't it Misha who, like, delivered the letter last time? Like, in the other routes? I'm trying to remember. It takes a while to recollect what happened then, given the haze induced by the generally awful state I was in at the time. Oh, right, the knocking. That was you two? It was. And you left us there for ages after we'd taken all the effort of coming to your dormitory early in the morning. Sorry, I was having a problem with nausea. They're not buying it. I can't blame them. Shizune's head drops in resignation before she reaches into her pocket. Something white and yellow can be seen sticking out a little. As she pulls it out, it turns out to be an envelope with very bright decorations on it. Since she points it towards me, I duly take it. Oh, is this... I think this is the first time, like, Hisao might, like, be, like, acknowledging this letter in, like, with other people around. This is what we were trying so hard to give you, Hichan. You don't check your... I tune out the sound of Misha's voice as my eyes register what's written on the envelope. Hanako. I stare at the envelope for a moment, before suddenly remembering that there are people around me. There's a very strange, somewhat invasive feeling about their expressions. I kind of want to be alone right now. Hanako? It's nothing. Thank you for bringing me this, you two. I should think so, after what we went through to get it to you. I step back and say my goodbyes. Misha theatrically pouts even as I go out the door, but Shizune and Hanako remain very visibly curious about my reaction. I hope they won't interrogate me on this later. The smell of the gardens is, as always, a very pleasant sensation. Some of the most visible signs of how well funded this school is, aside from its sheer size, are the expanse and condition of the grounds. A good number of students can be seen eating lunch, chatting, and playing on the bright green lawns. Even some of the staff is enjoying the summer here, keeping watch over the students and idly walking along the long concrete paths. I'd never seen a sight like this in my home city. On excursions maybe, but certainly never in the school or anywhere near where I lived. Even the bench I sit on to read is warmer thanks to the summertime heat, reminding me of why I haven't worn the school blazer even once yet. Considering this, the sunflowers and splashes of vibrant yellow coloring adorning the paper are quite appropriate for the time. If only the words written on it were as well. Here I was, thinking I'd managed to get over her, when this troublesome thing shows up. Her handwriting looks vaguely familiar at best, and now that I see it again, I remember that she used to write in pink pen a lot. She was always very girly, for lack of a better term. I still think, like, using a pink pen on yellowish paper is not a great idea. But she was also quite fragile. I never knew if I liked this aspect of her or not, though with the arrival of this letter, that question seems to have become largely moot. The letter begins with not much more than an update on the state of things going on in her life. My old class had a good start to the school year. Many are anxious about the exams that will be coming up in the future, etc. But it ends on a very personal, if brief, note. It feels a bit like she wrote most of the letter just to try and soften the blow from the ending. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. And do I like you so much? At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you've managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. Wonder if we'll meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you're doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Hanako. And so, that's that. Our relationship is over. Nice, neat, and tidy, with no ambiguity. I hadn't held on to any illusions that it could ever begin anew. The last time she visited me, neither of us said a thing, except for the one word she said as she left for the last time. Goodbye. Be that as it may, this feels more final. The capstone on an experiment that both of us tried and failed at. A loud shout draws my eyes to the letter. It's just some students horsing around with one of the teachers standing nearby coming over to talk to them. Are you okay? Oh. I thought I was the teacher for a moment. I saw the white text and thought it might have been, Muto. A tentative voice comes from my side. For a moment I assume it to be Hanako, but it's actually Yuko. Oh, hello Yuko. I thought you'd be in the library. She gives a cheerful smile, one quite fitting the atmosphere, and flourishes the empty wrapper of a roll in her hand. She must have someone else covering for her while she grabs something to eat. It reminds me that I haven't had anything to eat yet. I don't feel hungry though, and skipping one lunch won't hurt. Mind if I sit here? Oh, sure, go ahead. I quickly slide the letter back into its envelope, slipping it inside my bag, propped against the side of the bench as Yuko takes a seat. She drops the wrapper into a bin beside us. Without much else to do, I lean back and take what enjoyment I can from the sun silently reflecting on the letter. The lush lawns, the clear blue skies, everything looks so different from the way it did back then. Even the school's surroundings, from the hill it's on to the woods around it, are completely opposite to the urban scenery I remember. Maybe this is what it's like to feel homesick. Then again, it's not an outright bad sensation. The feel of the area around Yamagu, while very different, is also nice. I think I could get used to it. Hey, Hisao? Yeah? You didn't answer my question from before. I wasn't going to say anything, but you still look troubled. If you don't want to say anything though, that's okay. I don't mind at all. Sorry for asking something strange like that. I don't mind. It's just, I got a letter from someone I knew before I came to Yamagu. It made me think about some things. I thought I'd managed to get over most of the problems that my accident caused, but now I'm not really so sure. I kinda wish I'd never seen it. I don't think that's good, Hisao. When my boyfriend left me, he did so very suddenly and never let me know why. At first I was very depressed about it, but I decided to forgive him. That's something I kind of is like I don't know if a pet peeve is the right word for it, but something that particularly irks me. It's like breaking up with someone and not giving them an explanation. Like when there's someone who's romantically invested in you and you've been returning that, I think at that point they deserve an explanation if you're going to step back from it. Otherwise you just spend your time wondering was it something I did? And if it was something I did, what was it? Is it something I can improve about myself? Is it something that just was incompatible? Was it something going on in their life? Oh. And just it's so hard to get closure on that issue. You forgave him? Couldn't he at least have talked properly with you about it? He was always one of those people that found it difficult to come close to others. In the end, I decided that I fell in love with him for a reason. He was a good person, and I think that if I had been in his position, I would probably have found it just as hard to try and talk to him. I don't really see the connection to the letter I got. I mean that, how should I put this? Must have been very hard for that person to send that letter, and if they did, I think they must have thought very hard about exactly what to say. You and Hanako managed to write this letter and bring a final close to our relationship. Something that I'd never managed to do. Whereas here I am, trying to protect and help Hanako as best I can. Especially with Lily leaving for a while, and I'm not even able to deal with my own problems. Does that make sense? She's taken my non-response and excuse me, missed that. And furrowed brow. Oh, she's taken my non-response and furrowed brow as doubt. She really reads faces too much, just like a certain other person. Yeah, that makes sense. The letter was just kind of a shock, really. I think I tried to fool myself into thinking that my life reset when I came into Yamaku, but now I'm suddenly aware that it didn't. I'm at a bit of a loss about how to deal with these feelings. I think that's something I can't really help you with. Sorry. It's fine. I think being able to talk with you helped me get things sorted out a bit better in my head, so thank you anyway. She nods and smiles sweetly. Yuko's a nice girl, so it's a shame she's so highly strung so often. Oh. The school bell ringing out startles us both. I was supposed to be back before the bell. Oops. She jumps off the bench and almost races off without a second word, but turns on her heel as she remembers she was talking to me just now. I'll see you later, Hisao. Cheer up, okay? I'll try to. Thanks, Yuko. With a quick bow, Yuko takes her leave and begins her rush to the library. Her flight catches the curious eyes of a few passing students who are unenthusiastically trudging back to their classes after their fun. Reluctantly standing from the bench, I dust myself off and join them. Even while I walk through the gardens back to the main building, the thought of the letter in my bag doesn't stray far from my mind. Okay, so I'm kind of curious how this is going to go, because in all the other routes, Hisao was like, Hisao received the letter and read the letter in the privacy of his own room. This I can't remember any others where it was in the classroom and kind of at least 3 people like kind of heard, oh, this is like, who's Iwanago? The feeling of walking through the streets is one of very deep nostalgia. While Yamaku may be like the reverse of where I've lived in the past, the city at night is amazingly familiar. My eyes are moving constantly from the bright electronic screens glowing high in the night sky, to the street lamps piercing the darkness with their light, to the businessmen enjoying themselves after work and the busily talking couples on dates. Even if I didn't want to, I can't help soaking in every aspect of the city. I savor its familiarity like a sweet candy sitting on my tongue. Lily is walking to my left with her cane swaying to and fro, holding on to her sister's arm for guidance while talking to her. Compared to traveling by taxi or bus, being driven by Akira in her rather nice car was a much more enjoyable experience. Maybe not for the person on my right, though. While Lily was used to her sister's driving style, and I quite liked a bit of excitement, Hanako was holding very tightly to the door for most of the trip. I know what it's like to have to be with drivers like that. Everything looks so pretty at night. Hanako quickly looks down yet again as she accidentally catches someone's gaze. Yeah, it does. My answer isn't very thoughtful since I'm distracted by so many thoughts that I find it hard to keep up on small talk. One of those distractions, aside from the city sights, is how Hanako looks. This is the first time I've seen her in something other than her school uniform or her pajamas. It gave me pause when I first saw her outfit, when we met up at the school gate. Considering how much her head is lowered when people walk near us, I imagine that the hat she wears is more than a fashion statement. While initially I was wary of Lily's plan to take us out into the city, when night fell it became obvious she had thought about this. Not many people have paid Hanako much heed since the darkness hides her scarring well. So, we're in the city. Any ideas on what to do? Akira beams a smile. Something tells me that she is the one who is making this particular decision, even if her sister may have proposed the outing in the first place. Guilty. Just follow us. Are we going to karaoke? I nod and try my best to stifle a grimace. After what happened during Hanako's birthday party, I don't trust Akira's judgment all that much. We keep walking, and I notice that we're passing more and more cafes, restaurants, and other eateries. Every once in a while, a drunken man in a suit comes out of a bar, usually being supported by another, but for the most part, the customers around this part of the city look young and fashionable. Different kinds of music come and go as we pass by each business. The discord created by the overlaps should be grating, but it reminds me so strongly of the times I spent in the city with my old friends that I don't mind. Hanako and I have started to drift a little apart from Lilly and Akira. That comes to a stop when I hear a soft thud from beside me. Sorry. By the time she rights herself from her apologetic bow, the middle-aged businessman she bumped into is walking away after mumbling a half-hearted apology. Hanako looks a little put off by the experience, and as she quickly skips ahead to match my pace, I notice her head hanging low once more. She probably bumped into him because she was looking downwards and not where she was going. I step to the side a little and put one hand on her far shoulder, drawing her closer. Hisao? It's okay. You can walk closer to me if you want. Hanako hesitates, but eventually nods in assent. After a couple of times when I'd thought we had arrived at Akira's destination, we reach our target. By now we're below the elevated walkways and past the most garish and brightly lit places. I'm a bit surprised. The average age of those around us is distinctly older, and the smell of cigarette smoke is pretty thick. Ugh. I do not like the smell of cigarettes. The area is far from seedy though, and it's a little amusing to see Lily's reaction to the smell of the smoke. So, there's another thing though. If I remember correctly, like, most places in Japan, you're not allowed to just, like, smoke, like, you're not allowed to smoke on the streets. Like, there's designated smoking areas you have to be in. While it's masked by the low talking of those around us, jazz music can be heard emanating from inside. Looking up at the dimly lit sign, it becomes obvious why. A jazz club. I have to admit, this isn't what I expected. Lily gives an amused snort and a smile. Somehow I feel like I should have known it, Akira. As we talk outside, I notice more and more odd sideways glances directed our way. People awkwardly catch themselves staring and look away, but that just makes it more obvious. I had noticed this occasionally when we were walking, but it's more pronounced now. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. An average-looking Japanese teenage guy, just a little taller than normal, isn't the type to draw attention without making an effort. Hey, come on. Just because you're teenagers doesn't mean you can't have a taste, right? Well, I don't really mind the music if that's what you mean. I don't mind it either. She's only just managing to force the words out. It contrasts heavily to when we're alone in Yamaku, and it disappoints me a little that she's so highly strung for what's supposed to be a good time out into town. I mean, the crowds! You know this, Hisao. It's hard to read Hanako's face as she keeps looking downwards. It's little wonder if she doesn't often come out into the city because of this. And it makes me a little thankful that my own scarring is easily hidden. Lily has a similar way of attracting people's gazes, but the reason for it is clearly different. She hardly looks like a native, and the same can be said for her sister. That much is far more noticeable than her blindness from a distance. She may not be able to see this for herself, but I have little doubt she can hear the odd whispered phrase from people who think they're out of earshot. Be that as it may, she doesn't seem to show any sign of either annoyance or pleasure at the attention. Akira is still as confident as ever though. Flashing a smile, she strides in with Lily by her side, and the two of us following behind. Oh, so many people! I'd expected my eyes to need adjusting to the light inside, but it's not much brighter than outside. The music we'd heard is clearer now, mixed in with the sound of glasses moving onto tables and counter. And the husky chatter of the patrons. Looking to my right reveals the music's source, a jazz group playing beyond some tables. I think because he's already designated himself as the... Yeah... Like, that is the one thing that, like, the biggest thing that worries me about Hisao in this route is his kind of... he's, like, taking, like, too much personal responsibility for Hanako. The patrons seem to be mostly men, and though there's a handful of women, nobody looks under 30. Aside from us, of course. Feels like we've stepped into the 1920s, and the atmosphere is quite agreeable. I'm not completely comfortable simply because of my age, but were I older, I would probably feel quite at home. Hanako seems a bit more relaxed now, probably due to nobody looking at her. Everybody's talking between themselves, drinking, or watching the band. I can fix her beam! Akira casually takes a seat at the counter without even glancing around. She's probably come here before. So I can't hear the phrase, like, I can fix her anymore without thinking of Fixer Beam from Gridman and just when Muni saw that episode. Your reaction brings a smile to my face every time, my dear. Akira casually takes a seat at the counter without even glancing around. She's probably come here before. Lily retracts her cane, feeling out the bar stool and the edge of the counter before taking a seat beside her sister. The bartender takes a brief break from polishing a glass to watch her, before putting it down and coming over. Good evening, ladies. What'll it be? Just a scotch, thanks. Lily? May I have a glass of A black-suited elbow hits her side sharply. Orange juice, please. Yes, we're in public, Lily. You can't order alcohol. No problem. Coming right up. The bartender starts to pour their drinks. A couple of seconds pass before Akira suddenly remembers that Hanako and I are indeed here and turns around to us. You two want anything, or are you just going to stand there? Yeah, I remember laughing. You made the joke. Yeah, it was. You made the joke like just seconds before Gridman used the fixer beam. Every time my brain just it makes me smile, that memory. It's the same as I can't see mangoes now. Like, mangoes have been spoiled for me because I'll see a mango and I'll just remember those mangoes aren't ripe. Like, it's just another thing where your reaction is the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, you have forever changed Fixer Beam and mangoes. Hanako seems to be getting a bit restless. No matter where we're going to seat ourselves, there's going to be people right next to her, and I don't think she looks convincingly older than 20. Unlike Lily. This party isn't unripened mango. He is. Looking around, there's a game section to our right. A couple of billiards tables can be seen in the corner, and nobody's using them either. I glanced at Hanako, about to ask her if she'd like to play, but she's already looking longingly in the same direction. Maybe it says something that we can get by with so few words nowadays. We'll go play pool over there. Akira leans back to see past me before shrugging and sitting back up. It seems you'll have to put up with only me for company. How unfortunate. Have fun, you two. We turn and set off for the abandoned corner, with Hanako taking the lead. The prospect of a nice, quiet game away from everyone makes her walk noticeably faster. Her eyes stay firmly fixed on her prize. The table is full size and well lit despite the surrounding darkness, thanks to the bright overhead lights. A huge painting of something covers the wall. There aren't many people milling around this corner of the club, and I can see Hanako becoming a little less tense as a result. You know how to play? I'm no expert, but yeah, I do. Then, 8-ball? Sure. Hanako gets the chalk and 2 cues from a set of hooks against one of the walls, while I fetch the balls from the table's pockets and grab the rack from a shelf underneath. She patiently waits as I get the table set up. After slotting the final ball into the rack and doing some last adjustments, I end up having to fight my perfectionist urges and getting the bottom row of balls exactly perpendicular with the edges. With the balls arranged and ready for play, I step back and take my cue from her outstretched arm. I carry out a quick inspection of the tip before I'm satisfied that it's in good condition. So, you've played before? Once or twice. I just kind of know the rules. The air between us feels a little awkward. She's still pretty nervous, understandably given that we're in public. Eventually the silence becomes too much even for Hanako and she begins to quietly stammer. Who will break? I think for a moment before reaching into my pocket and drawing a coin. I'll take heads, your tails. After a nod of agreement from Hanako, I flick the coin up into the air, catch it, and flip it over onto the back of my left hand. Oh, looks like it's you that gets the break. Hanako nods again before taking up her position at the end of the table. She's not usually this quiet around me, but I'm not wholly sure if it's because of the tidbit of information about her past that slipped out moments ago. The cue comes back in a practiced gesture before smacking dead into the center of the cue ball with a thud. The white ball skates across the smooth green expanse before smashing into the carefully arranged balls at the other end. Balls skitter across the table at high speed. The break was good, with the balls being nicely distributed around the table. My eyes are already flicking from one to another to pick out the easiest candidates to pocket. Hanako retreats from the side, and I take my shot. Well done. It's only after Hanako says this that I realize the ball I was shooting at was sunk. I look at her and notice a small smile on her face. It's nice how playing games seems to loosen her up a little. I suppose that's something I do quite understand. Like, as much... Like, I know myself, like, any kind of social interaction is much easier to handle and much less stressful if there's, like, a common activity that's part of it. Like, watching TV or, like, playing a game together. Like, makes it much easier than just pure conversation. Guess I'm stripes then. I take a step back and let her take the next shot, but she doesn't advance to the table. Rather, she looks down a little and rubs her arm. By now, I can identify this as one of her gestures that means she wants to say something, but isn't sure enough of herself to do it. Oh, is 8-ball like Hisao needs keeps taking turns until he fails to pocket one? What's up? Oh, never mind. It's just you had a nice smile. Do you like playing this? I sigh and lean back against the table. I like playing, yeah, but I think I was smiling because it's really nostalgic, though. Hanako tilts her head quizzically. Me and my friends used to play pool in the game centers near where we lived pretty often, and at night too. Wouldn't your parents? My parents both worked, so they didn't mind me not being in the house. I stayed on top of schoolwork pretty easily as well, so there was plenty of time to do other stuff at night. Our conversation dies down, with Hanako's timidity getting the better of her. In response, I get off the table and let her take her turn shooting. There aren't many solids in easy positions, so Hanako bends down and takes a while to line herself up properly. Hanako's expression is the same as when we played chess. A relaxed but focused concentration. Athletes sometimes talk about getting into a zone where nothing unnecessary enters their mind, and I wonder if that's something she can do. Her posture is good. Better than mine, to be sure. It's very close to a textbook method of playing, whereas I tend to contort myself into whatever position I feel is most natural for the shot I'm taking. She lines up the cue. The cue comes back, and she does a couple of practice movements to make sure she's lined up correctly. Hanako takes games so seriously. It's the only real hobby I know she has outside of reading. It feels good to be able to share this kind of experience with her. She takes the shot after careful consideration, and the cue ball zooms off towards the ball, sitting at a slightly awkward angle near a corner. Hanako's careful preparation pays off as the cue ball hits and sends the ball rolling towards the corner pocket. For a moment, it looks like it'll stop just on the lip of the hole, but it eventually tilts just enough to drop in. Man, that was a hard shot. If you can pull that off, I don't think I have much hope. Yeah, I was just thinking, I feel like Hisao's not for winning this one. I'm not that good. It's not just a shot, though. Even when lining it up, you look really serious. You're like this with chess, too. The praise makes her a little flustered. She sets the cue against the table and stands, turning to me. I just like those kinds of things. Her fingers are twisting and turning tightly. When I was in the orphanage, I just kept doing the things I liked before. If I played games with the others, that was enough for the helpers there, so I'd never thought about it that way. The staff at an orphanage would naturally want to have everyone socialize at least a little. If it's okay for me to ask, what was it like for you at the orphanage? Why do you want to know? I've touched a nerve, but the fact that she responded at all shows that there's at least a chance she'll answer my question. Before, she likely would have just shrunk away from it without a word. I'll tell you, but could you tell me who Hanako is? Hanako? Oh, the letter. I wonder how long she's been waiting for the right opportunity to ask me this. I'm surprised, but don't hesitate. Sharing information is naturally a matter of give and take. She's someone I used to like. Her nervousness subsided, at least for the time it took to ask. Her curiosity is getting the better of her, and I feel a bit uncomfortable to be questioned on this of all matters. There's no way I could spill out all my feelings about Iwanako here. I don't even know myself what my feelings regarding her are, even after talking to Yuko earlier, and I want to avoid the subject around Hanako. Yeah, but if you're going to dodge subjects, you can't blame her for wanting to dodge them either. Hanako doesn't look overly satisfied with the awkward ending to the discussion, but thinks better of continuing it. She was only just managing to ask me in the first place, without knowing that I wouldn't want to talk about it. I move to finally take my own shot. The lack of talking between us is filled by the chatter of other patrons and the band at the other end of the club. Excuse me? Despite a shot that doesn't look too difficult, I try and shoot for it. The cue ball taps the ball, and the trajectory is about right, but I put in too much power. It grazes the corner of the hole and moves off to the side, just skirting the pocket. Meanwhile, in our corner joke, we're gonna get you. Oh yeah, the jazz club. Oh. Except the jazz club and the pool tables in Persona 5 were different places. It would be cheating if you're allowed to do more than one thing a day in Persona. I grit my teeth a little. I was pretty good at this game, and it's frustrating to have deteriorated so much. I step back and let Hanako take her turn, glancing towards the counter where Lilly and Akira are sitting. They're talking busily between themselves, and seem to be having a good time. I turn back to Hanako as she takes her shot. With the same face as before, she lines herself up and sharply pushes the cue. Just as before, she sinks the ball she was aiming for. It drops into the side pocket more cleanly than her last, though. It looks as if she's getting a bit more into the groove of the game. Nicely done. She hesitates for a moment and begins to address me without turning her head. The orphanage was nice. It felt a bit like Yamaku does. and the staff was really kind. But as the years went on, I realized something. I was different. It feels strange to hear her speak so candidly about herself. She's audibly forcing the words out. It reminds me of when she insisted she tell me about the fire. Hanako must feel that she has to tell me of such things if I'm willing to tell her about my own past. Her grip on the cue tightens as she continues to speak. Most of the children there were up for adoption, just like I was. But unlike me, they gradually left, one by one. By the time I went to Yamagu, I was among the oldest children there. For a while, I helped with some of the younger children, but eventually... I lay a hand on her shoulder. She's forcing herself by now. It's okay. She looks mildly surprised for a moment, but then nods before setting down her cue and turning towards me. Do you really think so? Yeah, I think so. Even while Lily's away, I'll be around to protect you, right? Hanako looks at me for a long time, and I'm taken a bit off guard. Her expression hasn't changed from before, still looking somewhat maudlin, and silences between us aren't unusual. I think it's the fact that she's holding such prolonged eye contact that makes this feel a bit odd. It feels as if she's judging me. It's a very strange, vaguely uncomfortable feeling. What's... Oof. That's a low blow, Kendi. Hanako? I understand. Thank you. She smiles and looks away a little, but it feels stilted. Hanako isn't very good at faking emotions, and this is no exception. I move to the table and take my turn to try and distract myself, but it doesn't seem to work. Does she think I'm not up to the task of helping her? Is she disappointed in me? Or has she? Yeah, you know, you're not wrong that there's... Like, in that kind of situation, you probably would start getting that feeling of, is there, like, there must be something wrong. I'm probably overthinking this. While her silences are just an accepted fact of life by now, sometimes I do wish she'd speak more. With a thud, I send a white sphere careening down the table into my target. Hanako sees what's happening just as I do. The ball hits hard, with the striped ball I'd intended to sink veering off towards the 8-ball. Sure enough, as both Hanako and I look on and bite our lips, they connect, and the black ball rolls leisurely into a corner pocket. All I can do is sigh. It looks like Hanako is smiling again though, so maybe it wasn't for naught. Japan is definitely known for their inclusiveness or what? Yeah, that's one of the things Japan doesn't do so great on is non-conformity. That was an awful shot. You win. Seems I'm getting pretty rusty after all this time. Hanako bends down and begins to shoot the remaining balls into the closest pockets. I almost ask if we could play another game, but a quick check on my watch confirms that the night is getting pretty late. Lilly and Akira appear to be still drinking at the counter. Seems like we'll have to drag them away. Hisao. I turn back to Hanako, who's still looking over the pool table, shooting balls. Her voice sounds different from before. I'm here for you as well. I suddenly find myself blushing. It's only natural that she'd respond this way, given what I said earlier, but it's still a shock to actually hear it. I suppose, yeah, that's certainly something that Hisao hasn't been thinking about. Is if you want... I don't feel you can really be friends with someone, like, properly, if you're like, holding, like that responsibility over them. Friendships need to go both ways. I wonder if part of that's like what maybe Hanako needs is maybe someone relying on her a little bit. Like someone who's not like stepping on eggshells around her. Just what is my relationship with this girl? I want to protect her and to make her happy. I'm not really sure that it's something like love, but I don't think these are the same kinds of feelings I have for Lily either. I feel sorry for her, having gone through so much in her life. Her parents died in a house fire, and she lived in an orphanage for much of her childhood. I can't even imagine that kind of life. But I feel like there's so little I can do for her, especially now that Lily is going to be leaving the country. Red flags, oh. Hanako and I finish tidying up the table and cues and pick up Lily and Akira on our way out of the club. It feels like something changed between Hanako and me. I can't quite place what it is, but Hanako is acting differently now. I feel like we're further apart, if anything. Pity feeling responsible for... Yeah... Oh... So, you enjoy yourselves? Hanako and I both nod and agree. The game was good, and we both did learn more about each other, so it's an honest answer. Lily appears to be a little distracted. Worried about the trip, Lily? She pauses before sighing and smiling weakly. A little. It means quite a bit. The comment earns her a clap on the shoulder from her sister. Hanako smiles back too. You'll be okay, Lily. I hope you can enjoy your time over there. Thank you, Hanako. I'll try to. It will be nice to be back with my family after all, no matter for how brief of a time it may be. With that, the four of us begin to walk to the car park where Akira's car is. We continue to talk between ourselves, but it's mostly just small talk. Right then. Are you taking the bus, Lily? Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. It'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. I see. Lily reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her some difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awfully kind of you, Hisao. She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, then it will take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi has yet to arrive. Well, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning. The nurse told me I should be doing that. Yes, he has. And you should. I think he probably had other things in mind, Hisao. And probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? I guess not. Looks like we've got to wait a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again? I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. There's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. So, how long is the flight to Scotland? About 16 hours, if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing times. 16 hours? That's a long one. I suppose maybe 16 hours if they're like flying to London and then getting a domestic flight from London to Scotland. I don't know if Scotland has like many international airports. But, like if you're flying straight to the UK from Japan, it's like 13 hours. Should be about 13 hours, I think. Oh, I think one of the flights I had was just 11 and a half. So long. It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she's probably traveled very little, let alone flown. It's not too bad. I'll spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use that here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a little. Will your accent be a problem? I wouldn't worry about that too much. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all moved to sit down on the small bench beside the skull gate in silence. I know they make the sound have it that like Lily's doesn't really have much of an accent, but part of me still feels it would be kind of funny if like when she speaks in English she has like a thick Scottish accent. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lily is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lily might not be able to see it, but Hanako's chewing her fingernails nervously. I move to talk to her, but can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. I think the taxi's on its way. Well spotted, Hisao. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean that I've become more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we won't have to call the taxi company, nor worry about missing Lily's plane. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down a window and leans over. After confirming that, yes, Lily is the same Lily Sato that booked the trip, we sort out her luggage. The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it into the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into a seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells. Have a safe trip, Lily. Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will. I'll be back before long, don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too, won't there, Hisao? Yeah, of course. I turn and smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only manages to keep eye contact with me for a couple of seconds, her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. See you, Lily. Goodbye. Lily gives her farewells to both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more, and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. The two of us stand at the gates for a long time, even after they've disappeared from sight. Not really knowing what to do. So, what do you want to do? I don't know. Oh. Okay. Okay, this is... This is a choice. Because, immediately the response, my knee-jerk response feels to, call it a day. This was new? No, this was fairly early in Lily's route, wasn't it? Or at least, in the middle. Okay, I think the end of Lily's route was her talking about, moving to Scotland permanently. Oh, but this choice. But yeah, my knee-jerk response is to kind of. Yeah, I know. It's just. It's yeah. Lily goes away to Scotland. Well, nearly goes away to Scotland twice. I don't know if that'll come up again in Hanako's route. We'll have to see. No. But yeah, I'm like my knee-jerk response is to like call it a day because Hanako is already like a bit stressed and upset today. But at the same time, I remember how Hanako got in Lily's route while she was away. She kind of like became a bit of a shut-in for the whole time Lily was in Scotland. So maybe like just letting her like stew in those feelings isn't a good thing. But then going into the city is something that could stress her out more. But it could be beneficial to get her to have her doing something. Like I don't like. Is there no middle option to say like maybe do you want to head in like have a like suggest like having a game of chess or something? Like I don't. I don't know if. Okay, I feel I want to say like I want to suggest going into the city because I feel I'd be more concerned about leaving Hanako alone. Just pick one. I don't like making decisions. Okay, I did say beginning of. Don't. I just noticed a chapter name. Beginning of the end. Alrighty. Will I regret? I don't know. I hope I won't. I don't want to see Hanako's bad ending. Yes, I saved it. I don't like that the chapter name is Beginning of the End. That scares me. Alrighty. The bus stop. Standing by the school gates like a mute sentinel puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We have the rest of the day free. Okay, that's... Okay, so he's not suggesting the big city, maybe. And, like, he's suggesting something quiet. So that's good. It's a long shot, as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out there, even when it was so dark, as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's likely to just refuse and go back to... Okay. Really? Really? Let's go. I can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not about to ask her to change her mind. Oh boy. Stepping off the bus, I immediately noticed that a lot of people are around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Can you find the old, antique shop and take her there? It seemed quiet and out of the way. Hanako retreats close to my side. I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? A bookshop? Hanako's present and my other general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding almost imperceptibly. Okay. Do you know of one? Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents. Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday. You both spend a lot of time? Or maybe I misjudged the situation. We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all. Hanako smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure when she does. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. Do you want to check it out? Sure. The crowds start to build as we head towards the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of the traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're going to learn to drive? Driving? Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Yamaku that are allowed to drive. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really highly strung right now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, since she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lilly and I passed during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays? The same kind... Probably the same kind of store, like a merch store that closes on Tuesdays for no reason. Bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just had to close over weekends. She seems pretty knowledgeable about technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lend itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. What about it, though? Yeah. So I feel his comment about you're lucky, like you're lucky you still can, like was maybe like insensitive. Like putting that kind of like there are people worse off than you. Huh. I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? The antique store. If it's not a bother, you show me where you brought my present? Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. I head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its exact location. I don't want a repeat of the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Well, yes, it took Lilly and me some time to find it. Can we go in? I don't see why not. It's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not in here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time? No, we're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. The store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you brought gifts for? That's right. They were presents for her. The store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in the headlights. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. I want to be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before, but I think the feeling she's given off now is worse. It's not anger nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady. To have friends that care about you as much as they do. Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't even have realized that she said anything. And then again, the store owner's mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako strikes out into the store. gazing in wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store owner's sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money. Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is. We can? Of course. We can come here as often as you'd like. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. I almost forgot where this place was. I don't really think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to the skull now? Sure thing. Let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store owner peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what that glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird. And the fact that Hanako didn't see it is both a relief and a bit frustrating. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye. Do you want to have some tea or something? Or how about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I'm tired. Maybe later? I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously does want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons. Ah, homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow? See you, Hisao. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappears through for a bit, before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. Oh? Chapter 4? Scars. I'm trying to remember the other routes. Like, I know with Rin, the romance was kind of a little ambiguous at first. Like, I feel it wasn't until the end, because I don't, just with Rin not being able to quite, Rin and Hisao not understanding each other. Oh, but I'm just trying to think. Like, it feels like it's like Act 4 and like Hisao's. Unless I'm on track. Unless I'm on track for like a neutral ending. Because like Hisao seems to be like still like unsure of exactly how he feels about Hanako. I woke up, took my pills, had a nice shower, quickly slipped on my uniform, ate a tasty breakfast, grabbed my bag, and headed off. All as per my usual daily routine. It was only after arriving in class that the normality of the day was thrown off. After taking my seat, I watched my classmates trickle into the room over the next hour, until every empty seat was eventually taken, other than Hanako's. I can never get used to the idea that she just doesn't show up to class every now and again. It feels all the more worrying now as well, given that Lily's left. As Muto continues to drone on, I find my gaze flicking every so often over to her seat, as if she might appear there any moment now. Nobody else seems to care at all about her appearance, but they have little reason to. I think that part is pretty consistent regardless of what ending you're... Okay. I love when you say like, regardless of what ending you're going for. Like, what kind of people are deliberately going for the bad ending? Hisao treats her. Oh, yeah, it's cool. It's just feeling like this definitely feels like like a bit more of a slow burn one. Like I know it's not particularly slow, but in the other relationships, it felt like the romantic side of it kind of was introduced relatively early on. You went for it after you got. I still don't know. I get too emotional about these things. Hanako being absent from class, after all, is perfectly normal. Or at least, it was. Her attendance hasn't been all that bad from what I've seen in my time here, but it was apparently much more spotty beforehand. This is also an ominous time for her to be gone. It's the day before her birthday, and my suspicions are starting to rise. And my suspicions are starting to rise after the breakdown she had in class when it was mentioned. An increasing amount of my thoughts is taken up by how I can help her, but in the end, I feel like I can't do anything. The bell heralding the beginning of lunchtime rings out, shaking me out of my thoughts. A collective sigh of relief can be heard from the class, though Muto looks quite put off. He dislikes being interrupted in the middle of his exciting lectures, after all. Just when I'm wondering what I should do on lunch break, given that Hanako and Lily aren't here, the solution presents itself. No, I am a little worried about this, because I know in Lily's route, like, Hanako really struggled when she was away. Afternoon, Hitchan! Afternoon, Misha. Shizune. You both look as bright as ever. Hitchan wants to know if you'd like to have lunch with us today. Sure. It'll be good to have some company. The cafeteria hums with activity, much like my old schools did. Yamaku is different, though, in how strangely civilized the lunchtime rush is. What one would expect to be an unruly mob chomping at the bit to get a serving area is rather a neat and organized line. There's a small amount of jostling, and people's heads are often craning around to check on what's happening up ahead, but it's pretty subdued. This is due, no doubt, to the very serious rules regarding such matters in this school. The same strict discipline is observed when students move into hallways or come to and from their dormitories at the school gate. Have to wait Oh god, Katawa Shoujo doesn't feel like that kind of game. Though I'm trying to remember her name from DDLC. Because wasn't it the girl, like the shy girl with the long purple hair in Doki Doki that her like was actually an alpha build ending where she merged and just say that okay. Yuri, okay, Yuri. No, I thought that might have been the name, but my brain, I don't trust my memory enough. While the reasons for it may be slightly off-putting, I've come to quite like this sense of order that's enforced into school. I didn't really like being told by Shizune and Misha to get their lunches, though. I feel a little used as I take a seat at the table where they're sitting, plunking their food down in front of them. Sweet bread and strawberry milk for Misha, a bowl of ramen and juice for Shizune. I heave a sigh of relief as I put it all down, after the significant difficulty I had carrying it all in addition to my own lunch. Thank you! Misha claps her hands together before popping open the wrapper and digging into her bread ravenously. Oh, excuse me. Need to adjust my glasses. They were digging into my ear a bit. Shizune simply gives an appreciative nod before giving her steaming ramen a stir and blowing on it a little to cool it down. I open my own lunch, another packet of sweet bread, and take a bite before washing it down for some juice. The bread is very sweet, so much so that I end up forcing myself to stomach it just to get the experience over with. That's what you get for having ramen as an option and saying no. Midway through, I decide to take a break from the difficult task and ask what's on my mind. So, I'm guessing you two had a reason to drag me down here? You two always seem to have an ulterior motive after all. What are you saying here, fam? We don't have an ulterior motive. Her mouth is full of sweetbread as she speaks. It's a pretty unpleasant sight. Shizune looks a little grossed out before going back to eating her ramen. I wait until Misha swallows what she has in her mouth before speaking again. You're not buttering me up to make you work with you after school? Nope. Not trying to extract information from me that I might not want to give? Nuh-uh. Fine. You win. I guess you just wanted to eat lunch with someone as intelligent and handsome as me then. That's it, Hichan. You got it. Shizune looks unimpressed as Misha finishes signing our conversation, and sucks in the last of a long noodle as she signs her own thoughts. Hichan says you shouldn't be so suspicious of us. She's just doing her duty as a class representative after all. How is she, are you doing that? As much as I hate to admit it, it looks as if I still have trouble communicating with Shizune. It should be a simple matter of keeping eye contact with her and addressing Shizune instead of Misha in my speech, but when somebody else is doing the talking for her, it's a surprisingly difficult task. It's the class representative's job to ensure everybody's doing alright in class, isn't it? Not really? Wait, how is making me get your food ensuring that I'll go well in class? Shizune huffs and adjusts her glasses disapprovingly. So this is the thanks we get for giving you companionship during lunchtime. That's a total dodge of the question. Wait, hang on. How did you know that I... Lily's away and Hanako is absent, and since those two are the only people you hang around with... You also made it kind of obvious to see. Ouch. I may well have done so, but she doesn't need to rub it in. Maybe this is payback from before. Right. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. And that isn't sarcasm. The two nod and we get back to finishing our meals. It feels a little embarrassing to be accompanied just because they noticed I was lonely, but it isn't as if they're strangers either. It isn't long before I finish the last of my bread and start on the last of my juice, and as I do so, I find my mind wandering back to what I'd been thinking about before the two interrupted my train of thought. It feels like I'm the only one in the class that so much as acknowledges Hanako not being there. It felt like this the other time she skipped class, but now it's even more acutely annoying. Does nobody care if she's happy or not? Have they just written off any possibility of helping to make her better? Even Muto doesn't try to keep her in class, and I'm still not wholly convinced by his reasoning. Hey, Hichan, is your juice past its expiry date? What? You're pulling a weird face, like this. As if it were needed, Misha mimics my own expression. Her exaggeration makes me grimace, though Shizune at least takes some amusement from it. I was just thinking about Hanako. Oh? Misha's interest is... Sorry, just Shizune's expression there. Misha's interest is piqued, and so is Shizune's once my words are interpreted for her. I'm just worried about her being absent so often. Especially now, though, what with her birthday coming around. The memories of that instant in class are still fresh in their minds. Their faces alone are telling that much. Do you know anything about Hanako? Anything that might help? Misha shrugs and looks to Shizune, who mulls on this for a while. Yeah, the only people she's ever talked to for more than a sentence or two are you and Lily. Shizune may not be able to convey Lily's name in a derisive tone of speech, but I feel as if it comes through in her sign language. The effect is lost, however, after Misha's interpretation. There are a couple of things we know about Hanako as student council members, thanks to the records that pass through our hands, but we can't say anything about what's in them. Understandable. It sounds a lot like the nurse's patient confidentiality. Every time I find someone that knows something about Hanako's past, it turns up being a dead end. The only way I'll ever find out is by asking her. I don't know if she'll let me know such things, but if it's for her sake, I have to at least try. No, don't worry about it, Hichan. It happens every year after all. that doesn't remove my sense of worry at all. I still feel a little at fault for what happened in class, but this feels like it goes further, even without their confirmation of that fact. Misha notes my troubled expression, her own usually happy and reassuring face dropping. Everyone has problems they have to deal with, right, Hitchan? Yeah, I just wish I could help Hanako more of hers. With that, the conversation trails off on a depressing note. Eventually, Misha manages to pick the mood back up for her usual bright and bubbly antics, but my mind remains focused on Hanako. I'll go check on her later. Oh boy. I make sure my door is locked after dropping off my school bag. The dorms are quiet. Muto kept me occupied longer than I expected, discussing my studies after classes ended and pressing on me some worksheets to give to Hanako, almost as an afterthought. Yes, man. Yeah, like, I feel like that kind of like popped into my head fairly quickly. Absorbed in thought, I'm late in registering the shadow that appears in front of me. Looking up reveals the owner of said shadow. Oh, hi, Kenji. Asking people questions aren't really so interested. Yeah, but it's kind of like I kind of understand at the same time like why he's a little cautious about Hanako. Hey man, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, hi. What's with that response? My absent-minded greeting visibly annoys him. I probably have had the same reaction. Sorry, just thinking about a lot of stuff. Think it's a pretty poor excuse to not be aiding the war effort. And how goes the war? I am preparing. Right now I need money to help with those preparations. If you want me to loan you money, just say it. Nah man, I'm good. You're good? You don't want my money? Hey man, don't look so surprised. It's insulting. I'm pretty big in the competitive bowling scene, but yesterday I found some guys who didn't know that. I'm fairly sure that betting would be against the school rules. School rules don't matter. This is a war situation. People these days, they have no appreciation for what war means. So, what do you need this money for, dare I ask? Non-perishable canned food. Building materials, mostly corrugated iron and wood panels. First aid kit, camping heater, portable radio, sleeping bag, flashlight, mechanical clock. At first, it strikes me as a rather random assortment of objects and materials, but after a few seconds it clicks. Isn't that a list of materials for fallout shelter? Ah, so you've read a Protect and Survive booklet. It's good to see someone so knowledgeable about how to protect themselves. You don't seriously think... It's a non-zero possibility. If you start preparing for every non-zero possibility, you'll never stop worrying. No, I'm pretty sure there's zero possibility of that ever happening. He slowly and dramatically raises an eyebrow. Well, as dramatically as one can raise an eyebrow. The chance is, I don't know, 0.1 to the trillionth place. It's infinitesimal. Besides, where can you build a fallout shelter anyway? Certainly not on campus. Oh, poor Kenji. No, I really feel like there has to be more to his past. Like, is he really this unhinged? It's my summer holiday project while I'm at home. My dad said I can do it. Really? Yeah, he thought it'll improve my crafting skills and manual dexterity, or something. I mean, to be fair, you are learning some useful skills if you learn how to build a fallout shelter. Knowing Kenji, his dad probably just thought it might keep him out of his hair for a while. Still, it does make me wonder what his parents are like. Maybe they're totally normal and Kenji is just an aberration. On the other hand, maybe this kind of paranoia and fearful survivalism runs in the family. Hey, want to help me build it? You look like the type to be handy with tools. If I had your help, we can make a really badass bunker instead of just a fallout shelter. I doubt that. Playing soccer before my accident gave me good footwork, but I've never really tried my hand at anything approaching real handiwork. I'm not, really. I'm busy over the holidays anyway, I'm afraid. A shame. If the feminists ever got a hold of the launch codes, I fear that so few will be prepared. And your fallout shelter will protect you from a nuclear bomb explosion, in the case this does happen? A fallout shelter isn't meant to protect against a blast. That's what a blast shelter is for. I thought you knew better. My mistake. My home's pretty far away from any major military sites, but a fallout following a nuclear exchange is a bigger concern than the blast itself. What this'll do is keep the dust and other particulates away from me, my food supply, and my sleeping area. It's gonna last me at least 14 days, though. 14 days is a pretty long time. It is. I need 1 liter of water a day for drinking, and 2 optimally so that I can wash as well. Toiletry is easy enough, just garbage bags and a bin placed outside the shelter area. Food means canned supplies, of course. Of course. And the radio is for outside communication? Right. So I can pick up government alerts on what's going on outside. I need a mechanical clock rather than an electric one, in case the electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear airburst fries it too. There's all the other stuff I need as well, like extra clothing, matches, and candles. I think I still have time to gather it all, though. Maybe. And yeah, the radiation is going, for a lot of people, going to be more of a worry than the blast. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a little impressed. He's really researched this and thought it out. And then again, I don't know if I want to live in a post-apocalyptic world with only people like Kenji having survived. Kenji will make a killing on YouTube. Maybe that's where he gets some of his money. Because I think Hisao noticed like he did have a bunch of money in his wallet when he saw it. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Damn right I do. It must be hard living in constant fear like this. He hardly ever socializes either, so the fact he went bowling with others is in itself something of a surprise. This mentality reminds me a little of a certain someone. Thankfully, her fear of others doesn't manifest in such a distinctly eccentric way. One thing I know for sure is that I certainly can't tell him exactly why I haven't been hanging around with him much recently. It's late. I have stuff to do. I'll think about making a fallout shelter or something, though. Not at the time this game takes place. Yeah, alright, that's cool. Man has to do what he's gotta do after all. You should hang out with me sometime, by the way. You're a cool dude. Cool dudes should hang out together, right? For some reason, that compliment actually feels kinda nice. The situation with Hanako being what it is, though, means I probably won't be able to fulfill his request. For now, at least. That'd be good. I'll talk to you later about it when I can. Cool. Later, dude. He retreats to his dormitory room. I had better go see Hanako. I stand outside of the door to Hanako's room, hoping that she isn't in too much of a state as I nervously clutch the worksheets Muto asked me to pass on to her. It's one more reason to visit her, and it gives me something to talk about, so I suppose I should be thankful for him for giving me this task. With a long breath to steady myself, I wrap my knuckles on the door in front of me. Silence. I listen intently for any sound of shuffling coming from inside, but I can't hear a thing. I knock on the door again, slightly harder. Still no answer. How strange. Scratching my head, I make one last attempt at getting to answer as I knock on the door one final time. Hanako? It's just me. Muto said to give you some stuff. For a while, the attempt seems just as unsuccessful as the last. Just before I slip the sheets under her door, though, I hear the handle rattling. As the door opens halfway, I quickly try to see how Hanako's faring. It's a task made somewhat more difficult by her oversized gown hiding so much of her body. She doesn't look sick, or at least not immediately so. To be honest, I'd have preferred that to her expression right now. She looks terribly tired and appears to be barely acknowledging my presence. Hi, Hanako. Muto wanted to give these to you since you weren't in class today. I hold out the loose sheets, which she tentatively takes in her hands. The way she moves is devoid of thought, Her posture is slumped in an unusual manner for someone that's so often tense and wound up. Even her eyes keep looking away from mine, doing their best to avoid eye contact. I move my head a little to try and get a better look, but she just ends up turning away. Are you okay? If you're feeling sick or anything, I could go get a nurse. It feels almost pitiful to put on such a routine get-well-soon act. I can't think of anything else I could possibly do for her, though. Would this be a time to ask if she wants a game of chess? It's so hard to tell in situations like this whether someone would be helped by company or if they do need left alone. She seems to collect herself a little at the notion, but only a little. Her head remains turned away, but her eyes move towards me. I'm fine. An awkward silence follows. As it lingers, I notice that the sleeves and the cuffs of her gown bear slightly damp stains. Her cheeks are a bit red too. Has she been crying? I see. I hesitate a little before coming out of the words I really came here to say. Would you like me to stay? I don't have anything urgent to do at the moment, so it wouldn't be any trouble. Her eyes slide away from me, and I lose any hope for an improvement of her mood. I wait for a response, but she doesn't say anything, nor give any kind of gesture. So Yoshinoa said, you can't save her for. Yep. All you can do is lend a hand. She just stands there, looking away from me. Hanako? She slowly shakes her head. Okay. Good night then. With that, Hanako steps back and closes her door without a second word. More than a little worried, I retreat back to my room. Wandering up the hallway, I keep mulling over what happened. It felt like Hanako was only half there, as if I was interacting with a robot that was just doing what it was programmed to without any real thought. She was a husk of a person. This is frustrating. I had hoped that meeting Hanako would help the situation, but I feel like it's only made it harder to understand her. How am I supposed to try and help her when she quite literally shuts me out like that? I don't even bother to turn on the light, opting instead to simply change into my pajamas, quickly choke down my evening pills, and collapse onto my bed. I think that'll be where I finish for tonight. I don't know. Oh. Some people prefer solitude, but there's no one who can. Oh. Yeah, it's just that case like you can't force people to interact. Okay. But I will put a save down now. I'm worried a little bit. Made up for some lost time from this stream. Yeah. Oh. I don't know. On Tuesday, I was just exhausted by the time I came home. Like I didn't arrive back home until about, it was after 6 o'clock. So I was out all day, and then I had less than an hour after getting home before it was stream time, and I just didn't have the energy. Perhaps just the knowledge Hisao cares, isn't it? Maybe. Oh, but it's hard not to worry. But so yeah, we've collected all of Hanako's pictures now. So I guess, yeah, it's just Shizune, then. Oh, I don't know. We're in chapter 4, so next stream might finish Hanako's route. It just depends. The chapter lengths can be kind of like inconsistent. Enough. So yeah, to make up for Tuesday's stream though, I was thinking I might try and stream something on Friday because there's no youth group on this week. So I've got a couple horror games downloaded and lined up. But I wonder, is there any more? Because I kind of mouthwashing does have me kind of like, yeah, I kind of enjoy the spooks sometimes. It'd be nice to have some more like short ones like that as well, like little one-offs I can play through. So I've got The Cabin Factory, The Cat Lady, Kanito Pet, and My Side. Are 4 ones I've got downloaded. And then I think I think I have a few others that I haven't like downloaded yet, but still are kind of sitting around that I could move on to. Let me just have a wee glance through my library now. I think I've added most of them to my stream play. Work is picking up next week. Oh, is this like just something seasonal? Oh, but that's fair enough. I know as well. Like my streams are like the time zones can make things awkward. I could have sworn I had some more horror stuff. Nope, apparently that's it. Huh. Alrighty. Probably just a little awkward, yeah. So one day we won't. One day, hopefully, time zones won't be much of a problem. Well, as much of a problem. Lead up to ski season? Oh, okay. Oh. But yeah, so this will be me for tonight. Might be a stream tomorrow, might not. It'll be, I guess, depending on how tired I am at the end of the day. So it'll either be, I'd kind of like to play something more horror, just like while it's October still. But if I maybe don't have like the energy to start something new, I might just read some more Katawa Shoujo. But I'll try and post about it on the Discord. But for now, I'll be saying goodbye. So, I'll thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed. Until the next time I see you, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.